Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. How's everybody doing today? Today I'm going to do the cruise Q&A. I had asked on my community page for you to ask any questions that you'd like for me to answer, and I will try to do my best to answer them. You know, I'm cruised on quite a few cruises, but I'm not a cruise enthusiast that I know everything or anything like that. I just go to have fun and relax. That's what I do. But I am going to start with the oldest comment, which would have been the first comment, and then I'm going to go down and answer what I can and take care of you. There will be probably stops in between here because I'm not the only one home today, so there might be a little bit of things going on. So let's get started with the first question. It's from Elysian Dreams, Elysian. I'm not sure if I said that right. It says, how many days does it take? Oh, and I'll be looking more over to here because I got to read the questions, and I don't want to put my glasses on because there's always a glare. So it says, how many days does it take to get to Iceland via cruise ship? I would like to see Aurora Borealis there. I'm not sure if I said that right. Experience the Icelandic culture, people, music, and food. Man, that does sound very interesting. I think I'd actually like to do something like that too. But, you know, I don't know exactly. You have to find out what cruise ships go to that area. I do believe some that leave from the Netherlands go to that area. I'm not sure. So you'd have to, I don't really know much about stuff like that, and I apologize. But that does sound like a really fun cruise. But just check online cruise ships that go to Iceland. And then you could see, I mean, they travel to different places. You might say 1 day there or 2 days there, you know, things like that. So you'd have to check it out and see what sounds the most interesting to you. But that does sound like a very, very interesting cruise. It really does. So I unfortunately cannot read the name on this one. It says, though, I have never been on a cruise before and I am too scared to. Laugh out loud. And it says, what are some tips that you could give to people who are going on their first cruise? So, you know, the first time I went on a cruise, I don't know, I was a little bit nervous. There goes my phone. Let me see. I'm not going to answer it, so you're going to hear it ring for a little bit. Sorry. But honestly, just make sure if you do get seasick, have your seasick pouch or pills. That's probably was my biggest concern right there. The actual cruise, once I was on it, I didn't even realize I was on it unless you're looking at the water, unless it's rocking a little bit, but you still didn't really notice. You inside, you're at the pool, you just go into the theater or something like that. So it's almost like a big huge hotel, and you really honestly, I never noticed that I was on the water that much, even though I do have a little bit of trouble with getting seasick and stuff like that. But there's really nothing to be scared of. They do have lifeboats, but you know, I don't see too often that there's huge problems with cruise ships. So, and I'm not really scared of water, so maybe that makes a difference too. But I love going on them because you just have so much fun. There's so much to do. You meet new people, you know, you just have fun, and relax is the biggest thing. Just relax. So. But the next one says, would you consider filming an ASMR cruise roleplay? I have been on a cruise once. It was pretty cool. And that was from Katerina. I hope I'm saying these names right. And I will leave the questions on my community tab if you want to check them out too. So I did do a ASMR roleplay for booking a cruise. It is on my playlist. I don't know if I would do an other ASMR cruise roleplay besides maybe being a travel agent or something like that, because it's really hard, you know, because I have nothing around here that looks like a ship whatsoever. So that'd be kind of hard. But maybe I could do like a cruise director. I don't know. I'm not making any promises. So because I hate to say I'm going to do something and I never do it or have time or something like that. So I hate to make promises, but I'm glad you went on a cruise. You know, I hope you had a great time. Let me know how you enjoyed it down in the comment section. Everybody that answered your questions, please comment down below too. And I hope I did fairly decent with answering your questions. I don't know. But I want to hear from everybody. So everybody make sure you comment. And don't forget that thumbs up too, okay? And this is from Lona, L-O-N-A-A, Lona Girl. Did you get seasick at all? Yes. My very first cruise, I did not wear a patch. I just took seasick pills. And everybody, well, not everybody, but most people that know me, I suffer from vertigo. And my first cruise, I got fairly seasick. I got pretty miserable there a couple times. But ever since that first cruise, now some people could wear the band on their wrist where there's a band, or they could take the seasick pill and it helps them, which is great, you know. But I do have to take a patch, which I get from the pharmacy, and I don't really notice it after that. The only bad side effect that I get from the patch is drowsiness, which, you know, does bother me a little bit because I feel a little bit more tired than usual, and I'm already tired enough. I don't need any help with that, right? So it's the only bad side effect. I use it, but other than that, I do pretty good. Now, if the boat's rocking a little bit more, I tend to notice it. My husband, he doesn't notice anything. It doesn't bother him at all. It makes me sick. But me, I notice everything. If it's rocking, I'll notice a little rock. And then I notice that I might not be able to eat or something like that. But I always have something small because you have to have something in your stomach to help it out. But I just noticed that there is times that I do notice it a little bit more than others. But generally, since I got the patch, I do really, really good on the cruise. So, and the next one is from Max B. What is your favorite thing to do on a cruise, and does it ever get boring? That's a good question. I would say 90% of the time it does not get boring. There's always a show to do. They have trivias. Some have crafts. You know, the newer ships especially have golf. I mean, the older ships have golf too, but like the newer ones, they have like the wave runners where you're kind of surfing. They have some have roller coasters now. They have basketball. They have okay, guys, sorry about that. There will be interruptions because there's other people home, but I probably forgot what I was saying. So, but about the boring. Most of the time it is not, because like I said, roller coasters. I mean, they have rock climbing walls. They have all kinds of theater shows and everything else. So there's always something to do. You go to the pool. You can just sit down and relax. They have bars, you know. And it's just really fun. Karaoke, comedy shows, which they usually have two, one where the kids could go and one where just the adults go, which of course the adult one is better. But I mean, it does get boring once in a while when you're a few days at sea, you know, and you're like, oh, I just want to go ashore. Because I think, and for me, an extended period at sea does get a little bit boring. I kind of want to get off the boat and check out the different places. And I don't know if that's boring or just I don't want to be on the boat for 3 or 4 days at a time, which isn't a common thing. It's usually 2 days, maybe 3 days, and then you go off. It depends on how far out you're going from your port. So in some you could just be 1 day and you're off the boat the next day. So, but yeah, it doesn't really ever get boring. But I guess I just don't like to be sitting on the boat for a long time myself. But it says Morgan James. It says, hi, my questions are, did you ever get seasick, which I just answered, Morgan. Do you sleep well on a cruise ship? Great question. Is it affordable and worth going? My last question is, did I feel safe on the boat? Okay, I answered the one about seasick just a minute ago, and it says, do you sleep good on a cruise? I have to say, I sleep very well on the cruise. I really do. Even at night, once in a while, it's rocking this way or that way gently, rocks you to sleep. Sometimes you don't feel it at all. Usually the beds are fairly comfortable. I don't think that I've slept on one bed that I didn't feel comfortable, and I've been on quite a few different cruise lines, and I don't think I've had one. Now, maybe the pillows might not be what I like. I had one time maybe had to ask for an extra pillow or something like that, but I never had trouble sleeping on there, to be honest with you. It is affordable and worth going on. I think it is. And what makes it affordable is you could plan ahead a year to year and a half ahead of time, and you can make monthly payments on that, either through them, they'll set up an auto pay, or I normally book ahead, and then every month or so I go in and make my own payment and bring it down and bring it down and bring it down. So that does make it affordable. It covers your food, your room. It does not cover alcohol beverages unless it comes with a package, and you have some cruise lines that do give the alcohol package with it, which I'm not really much of a drinker, but it does. And it doesn't cover soda. But soda packages aren't that expensive. It's probably about $8-9 a day. but you normally for free get tea, iced tea, juices, some juices like for breakfast and stuff like that, and like waters just from the machine though, not bottled water. You have to pay for that. But I think they have like lemonade and maybe like a raspberry or something like that. I don't drink them really too often, so I just hot tea, hot coffee, but not premiums. So it covers that kind of stuff. And a lot of people just bring their own little bottle or something like that, and then and get drinks from there, which I don't think they like too much because of the sanitary part of it. But you can always pour it into a cup and then pour it into your bottle, fill the ice and then just pour it in that way. So, but yeah, I think it's fairly affordable. And the last question was, do I feel safe? I have never not felt safe on the cruise ship. I have not had an experience where I did not feel safe or I felt, any kind of danger or uncomfortable feeling. Now, on shore, I've had one experience, which I talked about in a previous video, when we had got offshore. I was scared for my life, but that was out of the cruise port, and we had took it upon ourselves to go out on our own, not to book an excursion, and to just go explore on our own. And I did feel very uncomfortable and very unsafe. And at one point I told my husband, we need to go back to the boat. I don't feel safe at all. And that was the only time, and that was not on the boat. I've never felt unsafe on the boat. So Alexis Ann says, what are things to do in a cruise ship? Which I kind of said before, but theaters, comedy shows, they have places for kids too. If somebody has a child, they have daycares and stuff like that. I think they don't charge to a certain point, but then after a certain hour they charge, but I don't think it's a very high fee. I don't know, because I don't have any little kids. But in all these newer boats, they have the neatest things. They have slides, and some of the older ones do too. They try to update the older ones, but nothing has the big amount like the larger boats. Like some have zip lines, and like I said, love the comedy shows and even the trivia. If you guys check back on my 90s cruise, my last cruise where we did the 90s trivia, and the guy was in it. It was so funny. It was so entertaining. I really loved it. We laughed so hard. And he had did that, and I think the 80s before that, but I didn't get to tape any of that. So it was so fun. And there's just, and even if you just want to relax, you could go by the pool. Sometimes it's a fight to get close to the pool. But, I never noticed in the pool that it was so overwhelming that there's so many people in there that you couldn't fit in there. And but a lot of people like to lay by the pool, but there's plenty of seating. They have plenty of chairs on the outer decks of the pool and stuff like that. So you usually don't find so hard of a place to get a seat, but you do get really close to the pool because people gather right at that area right away. And if you are a smoker, then sometimes, which I do not smoke, but there's smoking sections on the boat, and sometimes you have a hard time getting a seat there. But but there's usually plenty of seats for everybody. They do the shows at different times, so that if you miss one, you're at dinner, you go to the later one, or vice versa, and then there's enough seating for everybody. And it says, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to say your name, Bojana, Bojana, and was it your first time on a cruise? Would you go again? Is it suitable for families of 3? It was not my first time on a cruise. I'm not sure how many times I've been on a cruise, but it was not my first time. Yes, I would go again, and I already have my next cruise planned as long as things go good. That because I have some things going on right now. So as long as everything goes correctly and go good, hopefully I can, because the cruise is basically paid for, but I don't know if I'm going to have to pull that money back or not. So I'm going to see what happens on there. And is it suitable for families with 3-year-olds? I see kids all the time on there. I do not have young kids. I do see, like, in the forums how they talk, how they take their kids to the daycare, and they go out and have fun, and they said the kids love it. They don't want to leave. They have so much fun, because I hear parents talking. And they also have an area for kids for not really swimming, but it's like a wade pool, and it usually has fountains that come down with water and different things. So it's really nice, and they do really good for the kids, I think, and I think it'd be great. And Alex says, oh my gosh, my boyfriend just booked a cruise a few days ago. Has it ever stormed out at sea while you were on a boat? And how good was the food and drinks? It never really stormed really bad. On a couple of my cruises, there was like a front coming through, and it did make the waves a little bit more, so it was noticeable at that time. But I never really had a storm. It did rain, but it wasn't like a storm, stuff like that. And how good was the food and drinks? The drinks are great. Never had any problem with the drinks. The foods, I think on almost every cruise ship I've been on, I don't think I was that happy with the food. Because I'm just super picky. My husband never really had any problems except for the last cruise and one other cruise. He didn't really like the food too much, and other than that, he could find something to eat and do whatever. Me, it just, I'm just too picky. So I don't know if that's for everybody, but I do hear a lot of people complain about the food on MSC, which was one of the cruise ships where my husband didn't like it, and I do find stuff, so don't get me wrong on that. I do find stuff, and it's edible, but it's just not for me. So I don't know how to really say that other than that way, because lots of people go on a cruise ship and they have no problems whatsoever, but you know, I'm just a picky, crazy person. So. And then Ark says, have you ever been scared on the ship before because of the weather? How many cruises have you been on, and where have you been? Is the food good? And what's the wow, there's a lot of questions here. So what's the longest cruise holiday you've been on? What's your best cruise holiday and why? If you went on a cruise in the future, would you consider doing an ASMR or mukbangs? What activities do they offer? Are you planning to go on a cruise soon, and where and why? Is it easy to make friends on a cruise, and do you have anyone you still they have here, you still with who you're still friends with? So, but saying I still have friends with. I've never been scared on the ship because of the weather, because it's never been really bad. But I've seen videos where it has gotten bad, and I'd probably be scared. But I mean, that's a chance you take on anything. You could be in a plane, it could be bad weather. You could be in a car, it could be horrible weather, and it would make me nervous too. How many cruises have you been on? I don't know exactly, but I'm saying about 10-ish. Is the food good? I just answered that one. It's okay. Most people probably is good. Me, I'm just super picky. What is the longest cruise? Is 9 days. And what was your best cruise holiday and why? My best one, I think, was Norwegian. We went on a Norwegian cruise ship, and that was probably the most fun I had. We had so much fun. It was very sociable. I think it really, I mean, they all are nice. I can't say that I've had really horrible experiences on any of them except for the elevator one, which I talked about in another video. That was probably my worst experience. So that answers your other question. That was my worst experience where, well, I'll get to that in a minute. But, okay, I lost my train of thought as usual. The longest cruise, what was your best cruise and why? Okay, it was my best cruise because we just had so much fun. It was very social. You know, in some cruises, they offer drink packages in your cost, which makes it a lot cheaper. You do have to pay some money for it, but it's not that big, huge lump sum. And when you have people drinking and having fun, you just have a fun time. I'm sorry, you know, it's fun. I don't really drink much, but to watch the people and to talk with them, they're so entertaining and so fun. And I can remember one guy in particular, me and my husband had so much fun with him. His name was Ned, and it was a bunch of people, but he was just so active and so funny and so talkative, and he had so much to say. It was so much fun. And it says, if you went on a cruise in the future, would you consider doing ASMR mukbangs? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to answer that because I don't know. When I'm on my cruise, that's the one time a year that me and my husband go on vacation together, and it's really about me and him. I do post videos sometimes or pictures, and I don't mind doing that, but I don't want to commit to the other stuff. But I'm not saying no, but I'm not saying yes. So, what activities do they offer, and did you like them? I kind of already answered that one. They definitely have lots of activities. It's really fun. It really is. And did you like them? Yes, I do. I enjoy the ones that I go in. I mean, I don't zip line and stuff like that, but the kids definitely love that and stuff like that. But are you planning to go on a cruise soon? If so, where and why? Yes, I am. We have our other cruise booked for this year, our larger cruise. The one at the beginning of this year was for our anniversary, which we don't do that often, but we usually do one cruise a year, and sometimes two if it's a really, really good deal. But I don't say where and why. I talk about it afterwards just for privacy reasons. And is it easy to make friends on a cruise? It can be if you're very sociable and not shy, and it's nice. You could have lots of fun on there and you can make friends, definitely. So it also says love your videos, so thank you very much. It says Jessica Davis, we love the cruise. We've had our third one booked. We have our third one booked on the Carnival Mardi Gras, February 2021. It's funny because in 2021, my family's doing a big family cruise, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do. But they're going on Mardi Gras too. So it's going to be a nice boat. Or it is a nice, it's beautiful. So I think you're going to have fun on that boat. Do you recommend cruises for couples? Was it easy to find relaxing time to be with each other? Or is the cruise filled with many things to do that you forget to relax? And that's from Zoe. And I hope the other one was from Jessica. I'm not sure if I said Jessica's name. But yes, it is. I would recommend it for couples. We definitely have a nice time. We always book a balcony unless it's a smaller boat. Then I have to go down if it's a smaller boat to like an ocean view. But normally we go on a balcony, and you have that place to sit. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. You have that place to sit and just relax on your balcony. You could have food delivered to your room, or you go down and get it and bring it up. There's all kinds of places to sit on a boat. Me and my husband will go out and sit on a deck, and we'll watch the water, watch the other cruise ships, because even when you're out in the water, you'll see other cruise ships out and about, especially when you get closer to the island you're going to. Some iced tea. But if you're a sociable person, you're going to meet people and you're going to have fun. You know, usually, and even when you trivia, you could gather a bunch of people together and do, because the more you know, the better chance of winning. Okay, Madeline says, how do you get to know other people on the cruise? I hear it's typical to hang out with other families or couples, but is it true, or do people mostly stick to themselves? I think it goes both ways. Like I said, if you're sociable, you could talk with other people. People are always willing to talk on a cruise ship. You're there to have fun. You're there to enjoy. You know, you just have to be open and talking, especially in a bar. You can sit there and talk. There's lounges, there's bars, the comedy shows, you usually sit next to each other, the theaters, you know, out on the deck. When you sit, there'll be other people sitting around. They have tables and stuff like that, and you could talk. So I never had any problems, you know. And if you don't want to talk, you don't have to. You just go sit and relax and enjoy yourself. What is your favorite cruise line and decks? What is your favorite cruise line and destination? That's from Ariel. My favorite cruise line as of yet was Norwegian. That's the one I had the funnest on. But I'm not saying it's the best, because I've had fun on all of them. But that's one that sticks in my head that I had the most fun. And destination, I have to say, I love them all, really. I love going to Caribbean and further out, you know, all those places. And St. Thomas and St. Martin and all of them, they're beautiful. But I have to say, if I had to pick one that I could go to, you know, more often that wouldn't bother me is Cozumel. I love Cozumel. I don't know why, I just love it there. Here's Cal's question, my favorite Cal. It says, hey, could you do a video on it like a Q&A? Here you go, Cal. I'm doing it right now. Cara Marie says, how often do women go missing on cruises? I don't think, I mean, there has been people missing. I mean, you go to any country, whether you travel cruise, boat, cruise, plane, car, any city, it can happen anywhere. I don't know how often it happens. It has happened, yes, but I really don't know how often it has happened. SB, is it true that cruises are bad for sea life? If so, is there anything we could do about it to still enjoy cruising while taking better care of the ocean life? Thank you. I don't really know. I haven't heard much about that. I'm sure anything, any kind of boat in the water, it probably isn't the best for the sea life. I mean, I hope that they all stick to the law on what they're supposed to do about not dumping and different things. I know they're very picky. Like now cruise ships are starting not to have straws and different things to try to better this, the situation. But I don't really know much about that I can really answer. But I do think that they are trying to put forth an effort to do better. I do know they do have rules and regulations they have to stick by, so let's just hope that they do that too. So, and this is from Taylor. It says, what is your favorite, what cruise line is your favorite? What about favorite destination spots? So like I said, my favorite was Norwegian. I love all the Caribbean. I do want to go to Alaska, and I do want to do like the Mediterranean. I see some cruises, I'm telling you what, I see some cruises that go through Africa, the Asian countries, Italy, just everywhere, Europe. I'd love to do a lot of them. I really would like to do them all. So I don't think there's one that I wouldn't try. I'm trying to think. I don't think there's not a cruise that I wouldn't try, but one I do want to do is Alaska for sure, because I want to see it before anything happens to all the icebergs and stuff like that. They're just melting so quickly. And my favorite destination spots, like I said, is all the Caribbean. So Liz McGinnis, lovely. We just came back from our trip. It was our honeymoon and our first cruise experience. We went to Nassau too. Well, congratulations, Liz and your husband. Everybody congratulate Liz down in the comment section. I'm glad you got to go on one. Congratulations on being newly married. So that's a fun time. I hope you had a great time. So, but Nassau actually has changed so much. When I first went to Nassau, I didn't really like it. Now I love going to Nassau. It's really nice. They've changed a lot. So, and this is just the letter E. I love you. You're so beautiful. And your tour videos make me sleep. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, E. I love you too. Max B. What's your favorite souvenir you've gotten? Well, I'll tell you what we do is collect plaques, which you saw the Nassau one that I showed there. We collect different plaques from every place we go, and we put it on our wall, and we try to collect money from every place that we go, just to put in a book, postcards maybe here. And I always collect my boys a shot glass from every new place we go to. They're not really into collecting shot glasses, but I guess they are now because I collect them for them. So, Zach, ASMR, what's the worst and the best time you've had on a cruise line and why? I've had a great time on all of them. I can't say anything bad about any of them really. I've always had fun. The worst time, which I had said in another video, is one time we were on the MSC Divina, and we had gotten back from an excursion, and we were on the elevator, which started on deck 2, I believe, on that one. And we were going up. We were probably about to deck 8, 9, and the elevator stopped, and it dropped about 3 or 4 floors. Scared us all to death. Thought I was going to have a heart attack. They had had trouble with that elevator for a long time. And I'm telling you what, when that door, there's a lady standing, my husband was in the back. There was a lady standing next to me. We grabbed each other's hands, because we were scared. And as soon as that door finally opened, because I started pushing the door thing, because I was right up front. I was pushing it. The door finally opened, and we all jumped out of that elevator as fast as we can. But that was probably my worst time, because it was the scariest time. So Maggie says, where did you travel, and where do you plan to? So we've been to a lot of the Caribbeans, and I will go just about anywhere. I can't wait to go to Alaska and over to Europe and Africa and Asia. I want to do it all. That's my plans. We'll see what happens. S. Chanel, which cruise is the best in your opinion? Which place to travel has been the best docking spots to do and see things at, and where do you have the most fun traveling? Like I said, I love them all. I do think that at this point, NCL was my favorite. I could travel anywhere. I love them all. The best docking spots. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. If you mean like you either dock at the port or you're tendered, which you have to take a boat to, but most places now dock. And as for like the best thing to do, one of my biggest things was I wanted to see the Mayan ruins, and we've done that a few times. There's always something to do, or there really is. You could check ahead of time what's in the area you're going to, or you could check with the cruise line, you know, to book your excursion. So a lot of times we go out on our own and do what we want to do, especially if we've been there already and done things. And sometimes we book excursions. It just depends on where we're going and stuff like that. So Kelly says, one, in your opinion, how do you get most out of the cruise? Do you pack your day full of stuff? Are the deals for different stuff to buy on the ship that much of a deal? Have you ever been on a cruise with your friends? If so, where do you think the best destination for girls trip would be? I think, okay, so the first one I raised, I think you do get the most out of the cruise. I really do, because for the price you get all your food, you get some drinks and entertainment, so it's really fun. You can relax if you want, go by the pool, get that tan going, enjoy. Do we pack? We do not. We wake up and we decide that day what we're going to do, unless we've booked excursions or decide ahead of time. We only book excursions, or just we scout out the area on the internet and decide what we want to do. We do that ahead of time. But as for being on the boat, we do not say, oh, we're going to do this, unless it's a show we really want to see. We'll set aside a time for that. We are relaxing. We are enjoying. We are going to do just what we want to do. If I miss something, I'm not upset. I try to go see what I want to see, you know, and if not, I'll be on a cruise again and I'll catch it on the next time. Have I ever been on a cruise with my friends? No, I have not. That'd be fun to do a big old SuperFly cruise. And I just think any destination's great for anybody, girl, guy, anybody. You just go and you have fun and you relax. Amanda says, could you do an ASMR role play for what you packed for the cruise? That's a possibility that I could do that. I'm not going for a while, but we'll see. Alanda Lynn, I hope I said that right. Have you ever been on an Alaskan cruise? If so, how was it? No, but that is one of our things that we want to do. Like I said, I definitely want to go on an Alaskan cruise. I want to go down through the straits. That's just something that me and my husband both want to do a lot. Kristen, perfect timing. Just booked our first cruise for this April. What is the dress code for dinner? What is your top must things to bring? Is paying for excursions different ports worth it? How are the cruises better than regular vacations? Dress code for dinner. We don't do the fancy dinners, but some of the cruises are now going that you don't have to get fancy dressed up, and then some you got to get all decked out, looking good to go to. You just would have to check with that particular cruise line. On their dress codes, they do tell you on there, because they do have formal nights. And then I noticed Norwegian changed, and they're like, just go. You know, of course they don't want you coming in a bikini, but you know. But what are your top must items to bring? My patch. Any medications. If you take any medications, take them with you. And take them on your carry-on. You don't want to pack them in your luggage, because you want to make sure you have them. I take aspirins. If I get a headache, I take acid reflux if we were to get, you know, any kind of upset stomach or something like that. Anything you have to buy on a boat is usually, let's see, I'm nosy. I go in and I look and say a candy bar you might buy for $1 here, you probably pay $5 on there, that type of thing. So you do pay a big difference. So we pack every kind of thing that you think. I take a little first aid kit where I have Band-Aids, little alcohol wipes, just different things. I mean, all that is really important. I also want to say something. When you book your cruise, your tips and gratuities, you have to pay for this too, which comes out to some cruises like $13, some might be $15. It just depends on where you're going and what your stateroom is. I also bring in my cash lots of 1s, 5s, and 10s. these people work hard. They work really hard. They take good care of you. I mean, you could tip accordingly to how they treat you. Besides the tip that I pay in advance, my room steward, I leave a tip every day for. The person that takes care of you at the bar, you make them happy, they make you happy. You know, yeah, I think it's very important to add extra tips. They do not make much money for how hard they work, really. So I do tip on the side, and when I go to the bank, I always get at least 100 ones and a few $100s in 5s and 10s, and we do take cash. I do tell my credit card company, which you don't have to much anymore. I mean, they always tell me, well, we'll know where you are because it's chipped and stuff like that. So I didn't have to tell them anymore after they tell me. So I don't know how that works, but you know, you want to always inform them just in case. Your bank, if you're taking your bank card, I do take my stuff with me, but I don't ever use the credit card. If I book an excursion, I book it ahead of time, and I do think excursions are nice. As long as it's something you really want to do, it's worth the money. If you're not sure, then don't book it. They have all kinds of different things to do. So, and you could book with the cruise line. And the thing about booking with the cruise line is if your excursion is running late and you book through the cruise line, they have to wait for you. If you're hours late, your bus broke down and you're stuck, they have to wait till you come because you booked it through them. They guarantee to wait for you to come back on the ship. Or they have to figure out a way to get you to the ship, you know. And if you don't book with the cruise line and you're running late, they do not. I do see many times, like on my last cruise, people were late and they waited. They waited probably extra 15, 20 minutes. They don't have to. They don't have to do that. They're allowed to leave when their time is, but they try to be a little bit lenient, I think, but I wouldn't take any chances. I normally only book through the cruise line. And then if I go out on my own, I say, well, I got to be back at a port at a certain time, and that's when I'm back to give me enough time to get ready to get back on the boat. Because if you get stuck in another country, and here's another thing, I don't know if anybody asked me about a passport. I thought I read that somewhere. Did I skip a question? Let me scroll back here for a minute. Maybe somebody asked me that somewhere else, because I have a lot of people at work saying stuff too. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Nicole. I thought somebody asked me about that. I must have skipped over. Nicole says, do you need a passport? So I'm so sorry, Nicole, that I skipped over you. Was not on purpose. Hope I didn't skip over anybody else. I probably did. Actually, yeah, I see another one. Darn. I must have skipped over a couple. I apologize for that. Nicole, do you need a passport? You do not have to have a passport, but you do have to have a driver's license and birth certificate, a certified birth certificate. But I recommend a passport due to the fact that if you get stuck in another country, you cannot leave that country without a passport. It's just better to have. It really is. Is it necessary? No. I would never travel out of the country without a passport because it would cost you so much more money to get out of that country than to just buy that passport. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I always have a passport. And Stormy, I'm so sorry, everybody. I skipped them. Can you tell you are on a boat all of the time, or does it feel like land? What types of things are strapped, bolted down that usually aren't strapped down in land? I cannot tell all the time I'm on a boat, no. If you're inside and it's just going in a nice pace, you don't even know you're on a boat. Really, you don't. I mean, if it's a little rocky, you notice a little bit more, but it's really, most of the time, if you're just having fun or whatever, you don't even remember you're on a boat. You're just having fun and enjoying. It really is good. And it says, what types of things are strapped down and bolted down? You know, I don't know. I never really, I'm sure a lot of it is, you know, I do know like in the bathrooms on the cruise ship, they have little lips. So when your stuff is on there, it won't slide off. But I never had it so rocky that it wanted to slide off. When you put your soaps and shampoos, which we bring our own. A lot of the cruise ships offer shampoo and body soap. It's theirs. But we bring our own. They have little metal things. You can set your stuff in there. And like in your room, I noticed there's lips, you know, little ledge things around there that if you have stuff sitting there that won't move around. But as for the boat, I never really honestly paid attention, but I assume a lot of it is. But a lot of the chairs and the lounge chairs, they're not bolted down because they get put up every night and put aside. They stack them up and put them to the side. You know, even a lot of tables could get moved around and stuff like that. Normally the boat is fairly mellow. You don't even notice it and you have fun. So I hope that I did not miss any more questions. I'm going to feel so bad if I did. If I did, let me know, and I will try to answer it in here. But I think I got it all. I'm not sure. I'm bad about stuff like that, you guys know. Please leave your comments down in the comment section of the video. Give this video a thumbs up. If you have any more questions, leave it down below too, and I'll try to answer it. I hope you did enjoy this video, and I hope that I answered everybody's questions fairly well. I love you guys so much. You mean so much to me. Thank you very, very much. Bye-bye.